What's going on, everybody? Okay, so today's kind of a more of a different setup. Bianca, my co-host, obviously isn't here. We were gonna do a podcast on Wednesday, but things got a little bit busy, got a little hectic, and right now I was watching the Warrior game. Warrior game really not turning out too hot right now. I believe it's yeah, let's just not even mention the score actually because it's disgusting. We'll be back. We'll be back though. We're gonna bounce back. I'm a proud fan. I'm repping. Bianca got me these sweet new posters. We're still trying to figure out how exactly we're gonna utilize the space. Probably gonna expand a little bit. So this is just a test run. Really, this is just an experiment for me because I've never talked by myself doing a show before. So this will be new. But I just really wanted to get in the UFC episode because, as we know, Leon freaking Rocky Edwards is back fighting Belal Muhammad. And I'm going to talk about something interesting, though, because a lot of people say, Belal Muhammad, does he even deserve to be in there with Leon? And I say, you know what? In all honesty, there's nobody else that could be really fighting right now. If you look at the rankings, Stephen Wonderboy, he got banged up. You got Luque and Woodley lined up to fight, and Colby doesn't want to fight him. Neil Magny and Chiesa just fought. You know, it's really the only fight that makes sense right now. And Belal stepped up and he's taking advantage of opportunity, and props to him because if he wins, I mean, that puts you in the title contention. But we'll get to who I think's going to win later. I'm sorry. I'm literally watching the Warrior game behind me. I don't know why I'm watching it when they're down by seems like 100 points right now. Just an abysmal game. Just too much fouling. Shots are not dropping. Lots of and ones for the Clippers. The Clippers are legit. So I'm just gonna, don't mind me, I'm gonna turn this sucker off. Yep, power down, power down. Maybe they'll come back, who knows. But in terms of, so kind of transitioning back to UFC 259, I wanted to mention some people that really stood out to me. I mean, Amanda Lemos, Jesus, she's a beast. Her boxing was insanity that game. I mean, that game, her boxing was insanity. On Saturday, it was it's been a while since I've seen somebody drop with a jab. I forget exactly who she fought, but it was a phenomenal performance, and especially in women's strike. I mean, there are some obviously like Amanda Nunes. You see girls that have just insane power in their hands, but Amanda Lemos, she was pretty impressive. And then obviously Euros, Medic, Trevin Jones, Kyler Phillips, one of the more dynamic strikers I've ever seen. His fight was just him versus Song Yadong. That was probably the best fight on that card, in my opinion. I mean, it was kind of crazy. The entire prelims was better than the main card. I mean, you kind of knew when Rakic and Santos kicked it off. Yeah, that gave me real Cyril Gahn versus Jairzinho vibes with that fight right there. And I don't think that's gonna get Jan out of bed wanting to fight one of those guys, you know. His performance against Izzy, I was kind of almost on track there. Izzy was pretty comfortable early, but Jan just turned it around at the end, started laying on him. But he wasn't just laying on him, obviously. He was laying on some GP there, you know. But UFC 259, it was great. Dominic Cruz, he looks so fast, so good in his return since losing to Triple C. But guys are really keeping a lookout for Kyler Phillips and Askar Askarov, like I mentioned. I mean, Askar Askarov, it doesn't get much better than that. That guy's good on the ground. He'll take you down. He's great on the feet. He can stand with anybody in the flyweight division. He's going to be an issue. I mean, he's beat Alejandro Pantoja. He's beat Joey B. I believe he had a draw with Brandon Moreno. And I want to say that was even his UFC debut. Could be wrong on that. Askar Askarov could hold that strap soon. I mean, all those Dagestani guys are just obviously insane and transitioning into Dagestani guys. Well, I guess not Dagestani, but Russian guys. Islam Makhachev. I mean, it was a long. He made Drew Dober probably consider not wanting to do MMA for a split second because it was pretty dominant, and even he can stand too, which is pretty insane. But I mean, his trips, so smooth, so effortless. I mean, because Drew Dober, he managed to stuff a takedown, but then Islam got a leg, a little bit of that sweep action there, put him right on his back, and then that choke, shoulder choke. I mean, come on, I've never seen. That's I don't know. Islam is a stud. I can see why people don't want to fight that guy. Jesus Christ. I mean, why would you want to fight him? Why would you want to fight him? You just want to get pinned on your back for 3 or 5 rounds? I'm good. I don't want to do that. Yeah, Islam's gonna be the champion one day. I mean, he's. I don't want to say he's Khabib because all these guys are different in their own kind of ways, but I mean, come on. He. The crazy thing is he looks good on his feet. The only thing that I was thinking was the Drew Dober could catch him because he's knocked out his last 3 opponents. And Alexander Hernandez is good, and he has a knockout victory over him. And the only loss that Islam has was a knockout. I forget who exactly knocked him out, but yeah, I said you can maybe make a little cash money on Drew Dober maybe, and no, the only one that you were gonna make cash money on was Dominic Cruz. He was definitely should have been the favorite in that fight. I mean, kind of disrespectful, low key. I watched a whole video on that whole Hans Molenkamp situation. Really interesting. I didn't really know what Dominic was talking about exactly. All I knew was I knew of that Hans Molenkamp guy. There's a video of him knocking a can out of Daniel Cormier's hands or something, and that's kind of what I recognized him from. I knew he's involved with the UFC. I didn't really know how how much of a power hungry guy he is. And I don't think it's all Monster's problem. It's just him. So I'm down for a charity match. I think I'll take Dominic Cruz in that fight all day. Dominic Cruz is one of the best bantamweights in the world. Speaking of the bantamweight division, Kyler Phillips, honestly, in a way, in that Kyler Phillips and Song Yadong, that fight kind of encapsulates the UFC bantamweight division as a whole because the whole UFC bantamweight division stacked to the brim with talent. I mean, you've got guys, Chito Vera, Song Yadong, obviously Kyler Phillips, Sean O'Malley, and then you have the top guys, Aljo, Sandhagen, you had Dillashaw, Aldo, Piotr. I mean, Piotr is not going to lose that rematch that he's going to have with Piotr Jan. I mean, there's no one. Yeah, that whole entire conundrum situation there was pretty. I'm not gonna say it. I mean, he definitely took a heavy shot there. I don't know if there's milk in it. Who am I to speculate? I've never set foot in an octagon. I don't know what he was feeling. Sure seemed like it at times, but he took a severe shot, and anything's possible there. And you don't want to win like that. He knows, Aljamain knows that. And as from what I saw in that fight, Aljo, obviously anybody who watched the fight knows that Aljo struggled to get him to the ground. And honestly, Piotr is so well-rounded. He just tripped him. I mean, he popped him several times, and Aljo did not stand a chance. He was gassed in that final portion, and there was just some confusion there when he threw that knee, and it is what it is. I think it should have been a DQ, man. You don't want to see. Aljo doesn't want the title like that, but I mean, he's gonna make some cash in their rematch, So it's good for him in that aspect. Aljo's really good, but I don't see anybody touching Piotr. He seems to get better as the fight goes on. He starts to figure you out. And if you can't take him to the ground, he seems to have really good takedown defense. His striking obviously is on point, and he's just ferocious. He's ferocious. Yeah. And what I said, might not be the most exciting guy in the world, but when you step in that foot in that octagon, he makes up for it. He is one of the most exciting guys. He is the most exciting guy, probably, since he is the champion. He's the most exciting guy and arguably the most exciting division in all of the UFC. Now, Leon Edwards. getting into this a little bit. Leon, so happy you're back, my man. It's been a long time. This will be my first official time actually watching you fight. So I'm looking forward to it. I've obviously seen all the highlights. The one time when you fought RDA back in summer 2019, I missed that, unfortunately. But I actually know the first time I did watch him was the Gunnar Nelson fight because I was intrigued by the Till versus Masvidal matchup. And that's when the whole thing went down. I remember watching that whole entire situation with the three-piece in the soda backstage live, and I was just thinking to myself, is this actually happening right now? Because that whole entire situation was whack. I Leon needs that fight because thank you, Leon, for being here because we have a division at the top full of numbnuts. Kamaru is not as bad as some of them, but and Gilbert is a good guy, but Leon, Jorge and Colby. I don't know. I like Colby because he talks big game, backs it up, but it's just annoying. You don't want those guys as your champion, especially. I don't know. There's just something you really have to root for with Leon Rocky Edwards. I mean, he does everything the right way. He's been patient. He's been dealt a pretty shat hand, and we're gonna see if ring rust is a thing for Leon. I don't think it's gonna be. I think that he is just better in every aspect of fighting than Belal Muhammad. Belal is so good. He's tough. He's a tank. He's absolutely jacked. And he's got good. He had a good last fight against Lima. But I just do not. This is just a big step up in competition. And Leon's a savage. He's on the feet, on the ground. I mean, his elbows, the way he sets him up. He's got long, nice, clean striking. And there's a lot of really good fighters on this card that you're going to want to look out for sure. If you know anything about UFC. If you don't, hopefully I can help you out a little bit, Yeah, let's hop into this. Let's hop into this fracking card, man. Cause there's some bangers on here. I won't go through all of them. I want to keep this one short just because I don't really have my co-host here to bounce ideas off of, which isn't as fun. But sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. I'm just going to highlight the ones that I really like here. I got Nasrat Haqparast versus Rafa Garcia. I mean, Nasrat Haqparast throws absolute bomb missiles. He has firecrackers in his hands. He is a beast. He's the guy that I want you to look out for in this fight. I mean, his striking is phenomenal in, like I said, heat-seeking missiles that can put you away. And he's fighting a good Rafa Garcia, who this is going to be his UFC debut. He's 12-0, and I think he was fighting for Combate. So it's going to be he's a Mexican. It's going to be really interesting to see this fight. I'm looking forward to it. I don't really know much about Rafa Garcia. I watched some of his YouTube film. I study the game. Don't have the balls to step in there, but I'll watch it. I'm rooting for these guys. I like them all. But Nasrat Haqparast, he was supposed to be on which pay-per-view was that supposed to be? I forget. He was supposed to fight Arman Sarukian, I want to say, huh? He was supposed to fight Arman Sarukian, and I was pumped about that, but that fell through. But Nasrat, he is somebody to look out for. He's only lost in his last 5 outings was to Drew Dober. I like Nasrat a lot. And then, so moving on from that, we got Ronnie Yaya, Ray Rodriguez. Ray's good. But then moving on, Charles Jourdain versus Marcelo Rojo. Charles Jourdain, super dynamic. His fight versus Andre Fili was great. He caught Andre Fili. Then he fought Josh Kulibau. That went to a draw. Both of those guys are scrappers, but I really like Charles Jourdain. And if I'm looking for a guy that is going to give me a knockout in the night, maybe, this is a sleeper pick. Charles Jourdain is great. And I was watching some of the Rojo because some of these guys I've never seen before. And I was watching Marcelo, some of his highlights, and he looks really good. So these are going to be really tough fights for both men. I mean, just because these guys maybe haven't fought in the UFC before does not mean they're not going to be tough fights. You just can't look past some of these guys. These Combate guys are tough, like Gustavo Lopez. I mean, There's really good fighters all over the world, and they're just looking for their opportunity. And once they crack in, they're going to want to seize the opportunity. So some of these guys that have been in the UFC taking on some of these guys that they might think aren't quite on their level. You need to be ready. You've seen it. I mean, there's so many good guys. Zalga Zhumagulov, when he came in against Halian Paiva, he's a beast. Yeah, there's just so many guys. Now moving on to the main card. I mean, where do you want to start here? You're going to start Eric Anders or Darren Stewart, Darren the Dentist Stewart. I mean, if he gave Kevin Holland, who arguably is going to be middleweight champion of the world, a run for his freaking money, and he beat Maki Pitolo, yes, and I love Darren the Dentist Stewart. And then as for Eric Anders, the one thing I remember Eric Anders is when he got absolutely slashed and dashed against Joaquin Buckley. That was a bloodbath, and he bounced back. I want to say Eric Anders. No, he bounced back after losing to Roundtree. Got together a couple wins, then lost to Krzysztof Jotko. But this fight against Darren the Dentist Stewart's tough. Darren is a beast mode. His fight against Maki, super impressive. He lost a split decision to Kevin Holland, and Kevin thought he lost that fight, which was crazy to me. I thought Kevin won, thought he did enough, but Darren finished rounds really well in that fight. It was just a downright good fight. It was a scrap. And then Manel Cap, boys. Manel freaking Cap. He had a great fight against Alexandre Pantoja. He's going to fight Matthias Nicolau. Manel Cap's a showman. The only reason, I mean, he was landing good shots, but the reason that he lost that fight to Alexandre was practically because he did not throw enough. He didn't throw enough. What am I trying to say here, guy? He didn't throw enough volume, is what I'm trying to say. And Manel Cap's so good. He's a phenomenal striker. And he get that whole entire fight. I was thinking Alexandre, even though I thought Alexandre was winning the entire fight, through and through, I was just thinking this is one of those fights, man, where you have to stay on point, locked in, because Manel Cap has the ability to put you down. And yeah, and it's another great fight. And then Jonathan Martinez, a guy I really wanted to highlight. He's fighting Davey Grant. Davey Grant, he's good. I remember his fight with Martin Day, where Davey Grant got cracked early by Martin Day and then rallied, cleared the cobwebs a little bit, and ended up getting that dub, which was really impressive. But he's facing a tough Jonathan Martinez. Beat Thomas Almeida in his last time out. I believe Almeida is going to be fighting Sugar Sean O'Malley. And Jonathan Martinez beat Frankie Saenz. That's the first time I watched him fight. That was when Jonathan Martinez missed a weight, I want to say. And so I felt bad for Frankie, but he got back on track there with Thomas Almeida. And that was a good fight. That was literally another one that I was going to mention, that Jonathan had to stay on point because Almeida's a beast. He had to stay on point the entire fight, even though his striking is phenomenal. You got to stay locked in. And Jonathan Martinez, clean striking. I mean, you want to watch a masterclass? Watch this guy. He's so good. His front kicks to the body, like teeps and stuff, so good. The way he manages distance, really good. I sound like an idiot. I don't really know what I'm talking about here, but I just really like watching him fight, especially in his last time out. It's just so pure, and that's why I'm looking for performance in the night, for shizzle. I like Jonathan. He's one of my favorite fighters to watch. And add another guy to, I mean, you can go on and on about each division, but there's just so many guys, and he's a great 145 pounder. Next, we've got Danny Ige versus Gavin Tucker. So Gavin Tucker, really good. He beat Justin James. He's beat Justin James, who's a stud. And I want to say he subbed him out. And then who else did he fight? Who did he beat in his last time out? Oh, Billy Quarantillo. Yeah, for sure. He controlled Billy Quarantillo on the ground. Yeah, he's put a little, he strung together a nice little 3-fight win streak here. And that, I mean, I don't know. He's tatted up to the brim, man. And if we've saw anything with Sean Brady, you know that those tats give you powers, because Brady, he he showed Jake Matthews who's boss, man. That was a beast. But Gavin Tucker, I'm liking Gavin Tucker in this fight. He's my underdog pick in this whole entire thing because I really love Dan Ige. I love Dan Ige a lot, but I mean, Gavin Tucker's a sleeper, man. If you want to make some serious cash, I mean, not serious cash. I mean, depending on how much you want to freaking blow, I would give it. I would throw my money on Gavin Tucker if you're looking for an underdog to win. Okay, because underdogs rarely win, baby. That's my upset of the night pick, and my fight of the night pick. One of my fight of the night picks were Manel Cap and Matthias, and then Dan Ige versus Gavin Tucker. Dan Ige is so good though. I mean, his fight with Edson Barboza was iconic. I mean, go back and watch that fight. Edson looked like really good. Edson looked really good for moving down, but Dynamite is tough as nails and he'll just stay in your face and he'll throw bombs. I mean, even his fight with Calvin Kattar, Calvin eventually pulled away after it was close, but it was close in the beginning. Dan was landing some really nice shots, but Calvin ultimately pulled away. And then Superman Span versus Misha Serkinov. I'm going with Serkinov on this one. And then the main event is going to be Baller, baby. And yeah, I just wanted to make this one really quick. I mean, probably not the most exhilarating thing for you guys to watch, but a couple of things that I wanted to actually hit on is because I personally know that, I mean, shut the fuck up, Kellan. Leon Edwards he's everything is ride or die right now. He has to obviously get this dub, captain obvious here. But if he doesn't have that leeway where some of these other big stars have because he hasn't been as active. He doesn't have that kind of thing where, I can bounce back quickly. He's going to have to work his way back up. If you lose to Belal Muhammad, all those title shots, like he said, it goes away instantly. He's going to have to work his way back up. So this is obviously must win. So I obviously have the utmost faith in him. So I'm going to look forward for Leon Edwards. And I think that honestly, you've got to go Colby Covington. I don't care. You got to throw a bag at Colby Covington to get him to fight Leon because, like you said, Colby's not here to do charity matches. I don't blame him, but this isn't a charity match. This is a guy ranked right below you in the rankings. Not that the rankings really mean much, but this guy is tit for tat, just as good as anybody in the welterweight division. And we're going to have Kamaru fighting Jorge. And whatever happens in that fight, depending on how it goes, the winner could be out for a little bit, especially if they film Ultimate Fighter. We're going to be out for a while, and I personally believe Leon's going to get Belal out of there relatively quickly, or unscathed. So Colby's going to have to suit up, bro. There's no one else worth fighting or risking a 9-fight win streak, especially when you're stepping up to fight a guy like Hamzat, and then you're not afraid to fight a guy and risk everything to fight Belal Muhammad. You have to reward that guy with a title shot or something big with Colby next. Nobody else is worth fighting. And one thing that I was thinking about that came up with UFC 259 was what double champ had more difficult path. And I was just thinking about this. This is so random. I'm all over the place. I'm just kind of following the notes that I had down because this was the last minute. I only did this because the Warriors were getting smacked. But I was thinking that which double champ, I think you just have to low-key go by weight class here. And the fact that Daniel Cormier became heavyweight champ, I think that personally is the guy that had the most difficult path to becoming double champ, because Conor, obviously he beat the best 145 pounder at the time, Jose Aldo, and then cleaned up. He freaking demolished Eddie. But I don't know. Eddie was the perfect opponent for Conor at that time. And then Amanda Nunes is just on a different level. Juliana Pena, what are you doing? Like her whole entire spiel on Ariel Helwani. I'm just thinking to myself, yeah, you're trying to do MMA math with Kat Zingano. I think that's who beat Amanda 7 years ago. Keep that in mind. And she's saying that just because Kat Zingano beat Amanda and Juliana beat Kat Zingano, that automatically means that Juliana has a chance against Amanda. And while I would like to think that you do, nobody does. There's 0 women. If you're in the UFC bantamweight division or featherweight division for that matter, move down. If you can't cut to 125 or 115, I just consider doing something else because we're just waiting it out until Amanda Nunes retires. Because if you're like Amanda Nunes' age right now and you're up in the rankings and you have to fight her, good luck because you're not going to beat her. And also, this isn't world shocking news or anything. People know this. I just think it's funny when people try to call her out. It's like, who have you beat? I think she got tapped out by Jermaine Durand to me. I want to say, let's look it up. Let's look it up right now. Juliana, because I want to say I saw something that she is trying to call out one of the most well-rounded UFC fighters in the world, but she's lost. She got subbed out by one of the best strikers in the division. Jermaine Durand to me is an absolute beast mode. I love her a lot. But Juliana, please don't do that to yourself. You don't. She got subbed out by Jermaine Durand. You stop it. And you think you're going to fight? You got subbed out by a girl that Amanda Nunes nullified by taking her to the ground. Come on. Let's be smarter here, honey. Let's not do that. Moving on from that. That makes me so mad. Doing MMA math and then like when you're doing MMA math, you better make sure all your other equations check out. Because if she can use something against you, that's not good. And also, it's so dumb. Because you can say the exact same thing for Amanda. Amanda dismantled Jermaine Durand. Although Jermaine Durand had some good, she did have some good moments in that fight with an up kick, and she was kind of peppering her on the feet a little bit there. But come on, Juliana, you don't deserve that. I mean, honestly, if they're just throwing away title shots though, and you want to get your butt kicked for a bunch of money, I mean, go for it. But I don't know, man. Don't even get me started on that. Yeah, I literally wrote, what is the point of fighting a women's featherweight or bantamweight? The featherweight needs to be done. My dad has this whole thing where he wants girls to fight it like a super heavyweight kind of. And I'm just thinking, we don't have girls to feel a 145-pound division. How are you going to do that? I mean, I wouldn't. I want to. Yeah, I don't. I'm not even going to go down that tangent, dude. I just get too worked up. Every time he brings it up, I just get mad. Now, boys, one of the grander questions, because besides bantamweight division, we've got a pretty interesting little tournament at middleweight. Who is the toughest matchup for Israel Adesanya at middleweight for him coming back down to defend his title? And what I'm thinking is Marvin Vettori. I'm sold on him. He's going to get past Darren Till, and he's going to get a title shot. I mean, because Robert Whittaker, Izzy wants something new. I mean, although he has already beat Marvin, but that was a really close fight that he beat him in. I think Marvin Vettori, when he was talking in his post-fight press conference, and he said he was a little bit tired after because he cracked Hermanson early and then had to dig deep. But when he said that he had to dig deep and kind of he just threw caution to the wind and just said, I'm willing to die in there, basically. Like, that's the mindset that Adesanya has. You have to have that to be a champion. And I think that Marvin's got that. He has me sold. I mean, he can do it all. He'll choke you out. He'll take you down and he can knock you out. We've seen all of those elements displayed, especially when he fought Carl Robertson and when he fought, obviously, in his last time out against Jack Hermanson. I mean, he's well-rounded everywhere, and I think he is the biggest threat. If you're going to see a good fight, if Till wins, though, you're going to see a good striking clinic on both sides. But, I mean, I seriously cannot see anybody but Marvin Vettori getting past Adesanya.
I didn't get that.
You didn't?
Try again?
No, I can't try again, Siri. Please stop it. How about that new Dominic Fike song? Yeah, Paul McCartney. Let's go. I'm gonna do a podcast with my sister about that because I'm in love. I'm in love with that. But the first time I got into the whole entire Marvin Vettori bandwagon train is when he fought Carl Robinson, because there always seems to be, he's a guy that can sell a fight, you know? Yeah. He's a guy that's always going to be at a press conference. He's going to be talking crap. He's going to square you up. He's going to be, he's just feisty, and that's what you kind of like. It makes you more intriguing to watch it, and then his fighting style backs it up. He's not just compensating for one aspect of his game, you know? He's balanced in all aspects, especially out of the octagon, which is pretty much would make a promoter like Dana White drool, you know? This is so weird talking without anybody. I don't know. I don't know how I'm doing. If you guys make it this far in the podcast, let me know how I'm doing. I'm open to constructive criticism, you know? Try to get better at this. Now, we've kind of covered everything. I mean, yeah, we probably won't be seeing a double champ fight anytime soon. Just nothing really lines up, and it's pretty difficult to for guys to bounce back and forth to defend it, you know. Triple C has done it, but I don't think he's fought. No, yeah, he's done it. Triple C's done it. Yeah, Triple C's amazing. Now, you know, I think we covered everything. This is my final thoughts. Final thoughts right now. I'm just putting this together. Jan Blachowicz is legit. Okay, he's amazing. He's really good. And Adesanya can beat basically anybody else at 205. Let's be real here. He's one of the best 205ers in the world for sure. However, I believe the light heavyweight division needs some sauce, and you know who can provide that sauce? I think he goes by the name of Jiří Procházka. Okay, I think that he's gonna provide the sauce that the light heavyweight division needs. Rakic is good. Okay, Diego Santos is good. We've got good light heavyweights coming up, like Johnny Walker. Who we got? Jimmy Crute. Got good light heavyweights. But Jiří Procházka's got something different. He is exciting. He is fun. And there's just something about his style. He's going to bring a scrap. And also, if he gets popped, go back to watch some of his fights where he fought in one. I want to say he was fighting in one championship. He gets dropped or he'll get cracked or something, but he'll come back and crack you and he'll win. But his fight versus Volkan is amazing. I love Jiří. Jiří provides the sauce that the light heavyweight needs for rejuvenation. And you know what? That's it for me, fellas. That's all. Let's check this one thing. Hopefully this was okay. I mean, I just wanted to get this. It was just killing me. I'm just thinking to myself, Leon Edwards is fighting, and I can't do a podcast. And like, come on, we never know when. Or he fought in Ryzen. Come on, Kellan. Yeah, that's what it was. It wasn't one. It was Ryzen. But we had to do this. We had to freaking do this. And it was all over the place. It was a little scattered. But, you know, and that'll do. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you disagree with me with anything I said, let me know. You know, probably going to be wrong. I'm wrong a lot. But hopefully I offer some insight that you guys appreciate, you know. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure to like, subscribe. We're going to be grinding out podcasts, you know, for the majority of my life. You know, this is what I want to do. Let's go. Later, guys. Thank you.